Welcome back to another session of Those Flipping Guys webinar. And today we're going to be talking about dealing with general contractors. And for those of you that are new, I want to welcome you back. And for those of you that are actually members, I want to thank you for coming back and being a part of this. And also for the new people, we want to thank you also. But there's a button on the bottom that says raise your hand. Every so often we'll ask you to raise your hand to make sure that you guys are agreeing. This is an interactive webinar, so we want you to participate. So if you guys are ready to get started, raise your hands. All right, ready? Here we go. Welcome to Those Flipping Guys. If you're here for the first time, you might have a question. What are these sessions all about? Real estate. Being taught by those flipping guys, two experts that are in the business and successful at it. You will have an opportunity to not only engage, but get involved and talk to them. Even if you have questions, hold the questions to the end and then bring them out and you'll get your questions asked. This is why we love doing these webinars, because it's interactive. We get to meet you, you get to meet us, everything comes together. The first step is total immersion. It's a lot easier when you go to a seminar or workshop in a live setting. However, now that you're in a webinar, there's a bit of a disconnect. If you want to feel the change and experience the growth, you must get involved. Turn off your phone notification and find a place where you can be alone for the next 30 to 45 minutes. And remember to always take notes, because 80% retention comes from an action. The more you put into learning, the more you will get out. Time to interact and ask questions. Members get priority, however, we encourage for everyone to get involved. We prefer people that want to go live, so if you have a question and you want to go live, all you have to do is put the word live in your Q&A box below, and we'll set you up on the queue. If you're not comfortable going on screen, you can go on audio only and ask the question. This is an interactive webinar where we'll have Q&As, networking opportunities. Just make sure to get involved. And for those of you that have noticed the record button up above, it's not that we're recording you. We're recording the session for those that want to come back, especially the members, to see pre-recorded sessions. If you're going to be in a place where you can watch your smartphone or your computer, you can always call in and listen to the session. Without further ado, let me introduce to you two good friends, business partners, and real estate experts, Gene and Angelo, those flipping guys.
Somebody makes $25,000. Is that a bad deal?
This is Gene.
I'm glad we put it for the higher price.
This is Angelo. They have been flipping homes since 2001 and have flipped over 3,000 properties. They buy houses for cash.
All done, baby.
No scripts here, no setup scenes, just real guys making real deals.
We're nice guys.
No matter what your ultimate lifestyle looks like, you have to find a way to fund
Who
it.
wants to make some moolah?
So if you're ready to earn money, balance your life, and live your dreams, meet those flipping guys.
Well, welcome back, Gene and Angelo. You guys, I'm excited. Today is a good webinar because it's going to be talking about general contractors. So are you guys ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do this.
Absolutely. Okay, so the first question we have for you is, how do you keep contractors on a deadline?
All right, listen, a lot of people, they want to do this business. They want to learn to flip real estate. They want to get in there, and they love seeing the before and afters. They watch all these great TV shows, but they don't know the first thing about renovating a property, so it kind of keeps them on the sidelines. So they don't know what things cost. They don't know how long things are going to take, and they get totally scared away from a property that's dilapidated. But guess what? We only buy dilapidated properties because you don't make money making nice properties nicer. So it's very important that you learn how to pick contractors or general contractor, but this episode is going to be more about just contractors in general. And choosing your contractors it's a very important detail, because they can cost you a lot of money and they can cost you a lot of time. Now, it's okay to spend money and it's okay to spend time, but you don't want to waste money or waste time with the wrong people or getting the wrong advice.
And what do you have to say about that, Angelo?
Yeah, it's just a mistake that everyone makes, is just not knowing what things cost. And if you have a guy, if you're looking for a general contractor, and your only solution to finding a general contractor is to pick the person that gives you the cheapest and lowest quote, not a good plan. Well, the question was more about keeping the contractor on task, and we have a few ways to do that. The best way is to be as involved as you possibly can in your renovation. So almost GCing it yourself and founding and talking to all of the subs and being there on a daily basis, doing some work yourself, putting some sweat equity in. But for those of you who can't do that, Gene will tell you another way to, we call it the carrot and the stick. Would you like to explain the carrot and the stick, Gene?
Yeah, we like to use the carrot and the stick method. And basically what you do is when you're working with a contractor, whether it be a general contractor or a sub, such as an electrician or a painter or a drywall person or tile guy or plumber or anything like that, you ask them, how long is it going to take you to do this project, right? And let's say it's going to take them 2 weeks to accomplish this project. Okay, so you say, so next, 2 Fridays from now, you're going to be totally done. Okay. And they go, yeah, absolutely. I'll be totally done. And so then you go, okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you till the following Monday at 5 o'clock to be done. Because that's absolutely your worst case scenario, right? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. That would be fantastic. You say, listen, because here's what's going to end up happening. If you finish every day that you finish sooner than your deadline of that Friday, I'm going to give you a bonus. I'm going to give you an extra $100 a day or $200 or whatever it is that's commensurate for the job that they're doing. But here's the stick. If you are not done, because you said you're going to be done on Friday, I'm giving you until Monday. If you're not done by that Monday at 5 o'clock, I'm going to start deducting $100 or whatever's commensurate with the job until you get per day, until you get done. Fair enough?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, time is money for sure.
Yeah, I also have a question. I mean, I like to add questions as we go along as a novice. I know that at any given time, you guys are running a few properties at a time, like maybe 3 or 4, a handful of properties. Do you guys use the same contractor, or do you have several contractors depending on how many properties you're working on?
Yeah, we have a couple contractors we use, but for the most part, those 2 guys do everything. And, one guy's a little heavier than the other in terms of workload. And it works out great for us because they have nice big crews. We have separate electricians. And, we just really keep our hand on what's going on at all times.
Yeah.
So you usually have more than one. I mean, you have a
Yes.
backup just in case. That's great.
Yeah, and regarding those, like we have our own, like a couple trades that we handle ourselves because we don't want them to mark up the air conditioning guy. We have a good air conditioning guy. We don't want them to go put 20% on top of this, $2,000 or $3,000 air conditioner when all we have to do is make the phone call. We have our own landscaping guy. So we don't need them to juice the price of the landscaping because we just make a phone call when it's all done and it's taken care of. We have our own electrician that comes in and takes care of everything. We don't need them to handle that. But your basic stuff, your painting, your carpentry, tile work, laying down vinyl floors, installing kitchen cabinets, doing some plumbing work, we allow our general contractors to handle the majority of that.
And how do you pay your contractors besides the stick thing that you guys have?
Yeah, so there's two ways to pay a contractor. One, the guy goes and bids out the whole job, and you have to pay for the job. So say the renovation for your house is $40,000, and it's one big lump sum. Or the way that Gene and I like to do it, and the only way we'll do it really anymore, is what's called time and materials. So we pay the contractor and his staff of people for their time, how much time it's taken, and how based on what Gene said earlier, how many weeks it's going to take, and we pay so much per week, and then we worry about buying the materials ourselves. So it always works out cheaper that way because you can negotiate cheaper materials, you can shop around a little bit, and you got your finger on what it costs. But what Gene, how much time do you spend driving around picking up the materials?
That's one thing you do not ever want to be in charge of, is getting the materials on site. Okay, you want to go and you want to make a list. These big box stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, man, they're great with working with investors, okay? And what you'll do is you'll do a job, you find the toilets that you like the vanities, the sinks, the faucets, choose at one time the tile, the paint, the baseboards, choose it all at one time, get the SKU numbers, get to know there's the pro desk, and they've got a couple different names depending on which store you're at. They'll give you discounts. They'll bid the jobs. If it's over $1,500, they'll give you these huge discounts. And you set it, you pay for it, and then the store warehouses it. And then your contractor needs to just go there and pick up the materials as they need it, because you don't also want to be calling have them have to call you at 4 o'clock. Hey, I need this. It's already paid for. It's sitting in the store. It's warehoused. Nor do you want all the materials sitting on your job site. Angelo, why don't you tell them why you probably don't want all your materials at your job site?
Well, because we have a weird phenomenon here in our part of South Florida, that the materials, after a few days, it's weird that it grows legs, right? And then it's able to walk off of the site. You toilet bowls, they can walk. But all joking aside, yeah, people break in, they steal your stuff. It's not good. Appliances is something we put in last, if at all, in some areas. So it's just, you got to be smart about it. And Gene's not messing around, man. These stores open at like 6 a.m. They will call you at 6 a.m. if you don't have it set up right where your contractor can pick it up. So ask me how I know that. And, no one wants a 6 a.m. call,
So the other question I have, because I feel like we're getting into like the second level for some of these investors. What tips can you give first timers?
All right, the thing that I'm going to recommend everybody do the first time they renovate a property is do as much of the work as they possibly can. Paint, demo, shop, price, learn to install a toilet bowl, learn to install tile, learn to install baseboards, try to put a door in, learn what it takes to do a lot of the work. Find out how it is to install kitchen cabinets. Do your absolute best to learn these things. And the reason being is because that way, one, when somebody goes and bids the job the next time, you'll know if they're underpricing it or overpricing it. If somebody comes in and underprices it, you're going to be like, wow, man, it's going to take a lot more work than that. Or if they say it's going to take a lot shorter time, then you know that they're going to hit you up for change orders, or they just don't know what they're doing. Or if they say something that should only take a day is going to take 3 days and they're charging you 3 times as much, well, you know that they're not being honest with you. So do as much work as you possibly can. If you can't do it, at the very minimum, find all the materials yourself, meet with 3 different contractors or subs on each job, find the painter, find the plumber, find the floor guy, find the carpenter, find the knockdown guy that's going to take down the popcorn and put the popcorn up, meet with the roofer, meet with the window guy, meet with the kitchen installer, pick your own appliances, meet with the landscape guy, just do all that stuff yourself, shop around, get 2 or 3 quotes, and do your best, to pick the right people and learn to schedule it so that when you do have somebody that's GCing or project managing it for you, you know if they're on task or not.
Yeah, and in regards to the bids, the cheapest isn't always good, and the most expensive, obviously, we know that we don't like that. So you got to really know the time it takes, like Gene said, and fair is fair for everyone. So the price has got to be fair, or else you don't want to do it. But what you're trying to do here is, and this is very important, so take this nugget. What you're trying to do here is build a relationship with somebody. If you're looking to build a business, that means you're looking to build a relationship. So they need to make a fair wage, and you need to get a fair product. So knowing all of the nuances of how long it takes and what is involved can help you really, nail down what is fair, and that'll help you have long-term relationships with these guys. I mean, we've got guys that have been working with us for a good part of 6-7 years now, and that's not normal. I'll tell you that right now. That's not normal.
Yeah.
So I want to go to the next question, but before that, I want to make sure you guys are paying attention. You guys are enjoying the information. So if you are, I want you to raise your hands to make sure that you guys want us to keep going. The button on the bottom. Yeah, okay, there you go. Okay, the next question I have is, what resources do you use to find contractors?
I got to tell you, man.
Gene uses Tinder. Gene uses Tinder to find all his contractors.
What's Tinder? That is not true. I've never spent 1 second on Tinder, I swear. That is an absolute true story. Okay. Look how red I am. I think I got embarrassed. Now you're getting the wrong impression. Everybody's thinking I'm being sarcastic now. It's not true. But anyway, no, I tell you, it's a great time. I mean, with social media the way that it is, there's different groups, and all you have to say is, you put out there, hey, do you guys recommend an electrician? And you'll get 5 or 6 recommendations, and that's fantastic. You guys have an air conditioning or heating guy? Yeah. And you get 5 or 6 recommendations from your friends or from people or your neighbors. Maybe you don't know them, but they're people that showed up. You know what I mean? That they hired somebody, and that person showed up, and they felt that they gave them a good quality job. There's also websites out there like Home Advisor, Thumbtack, Craigslist, and those are some really good methods of finding good contractors.
Yeah, and don't discount other real estate investment clubs, because the contractors and everyone that goes there, I mean, they're used to our business. They know the drill. They know that we're not paying full retail, and they know the quality of work we're looking for. So that's a great place too.
Now, what's one of the best real estate investor clubs in South Florida? You need to let them know about it.
There's this awesome real estate investor club right here in Weston, Florida, called Weston Rain. That's short for Weston Real Estate Investors Network. It meets the last Wednesday of every month with the exception of December. It's at a restaurant called Prime Time. It's free to attend. We just ask that you spend the $17 to support our venue, and that'll give you a nice lunch, drink, and your gratuity. And listen, the pros of the pros show up at this meeting every month, month in and month out. The best people in the business, lenders, title people, contractors, realtors, brokers, REO agents, you name it, they are there. And you know who shows up in full force? Hard money lenders, people that want to give you money for your projects. So it's a great event. It's the last Wednesday of every month at noon right here in Weston at a restaurant called Prime Time. Usually 60, 70 people show up, and you should be there, and we're always there. So if you want to meet us live, that's a great place to meet us.
Yeah, and the reason I brought
how do we make money like all the other real estate investment clubs? How much money do we make doing it?
Yeah, no, we make no money. We charge no money. We don't have sponsors. We do it all out of the kindness of our heart because, at the end of the day, we know the cream rises, and just by sheer fact of having that meeting, we're going to meet people and do business. And that's how we make our money usually, and that's by doing good business, doing deals.
And the reason I brought it up, and it wasn't part of the questions that we had lined up, is because, number one, when you go to the site, which the information will be placed on the bottom, when you go to that site, you'll be able to see the video of the testimonials of the people that are actually there. And one of the things about Gene and Angelo is about building relationships. They may not, make money off of this, but they're building strong relationships where you end up doing business not only with the flipping guys, but with other people in the actual investment club. So it's a good thing. And I had to throw the plug in, shameless plug, because it's just such a great tool that the flipping guys have that people don't really know about. And if you're in South Florida, close to Weston, I really recommend that you show up. Okay, back to the question.
Oh, Bert, one last thing. A guy came to the meeting last week. This guy Nelson, or a couple weeks ago, and it was so cool because he goes, "Listen, coming to this meeting has been great. I've made over $50,000 just by doing deals with people in this room."
Yeah, that's awesome. And those are just some of the testimonials. That's why when you go to the site, you'll be able to see a video, a good video clip that shows real people, real testimonials. Okay, back to the questions. What about painters?
This is Gene's pet peeve. Gene needs a good painter.
Yeah. I got to be honest, man. Does anybody out there like to paint? I hate painting. I'm terrible at painting. But I'm a picky person when it comes to the painter because, I know when a guy doesn't doesn't sand down the wall and make it nice and smooth, or they just paint over something. I just know when they cut corners, they don't do the drip. I know when they don't cut in well enough. And it just bothers me because we're trying to put out nice products over here. And most of our properties that we're selling are over $300,000. And that homeowner wants a nice job. So the painting to me has to be perfect, has to be pristine. And usually a good painter can also do a lot of the patching. And they really care about the finished product, because once they paint it, all the blemishes are going to show, and they know in advance. Any nail holes, or if they took out screws out of the wall or nails out of the wall, man, they patch it. And I just think having a good painter is key.
Yeah, paint is like the first impression. So you don't want to have a bad first impression.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, that's the first thing you're walking into. And if you see mistakes on the wall, what else can it be, So, yeah, it's important.
That's right. And I think buyers look at it too, and they go, well, if I can see these mistakes, what mistakes are they hiding and behind the wall and behind the cabinets and under the floor,
Yeah, it makes great sense. What about electricians?
Licensed. You need to have licensed electricians. People can get hurt. It's very serious.
License, not just take their word for it, actually ask them to show you their license and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in our state, you can look it up online if you have a question. But anybody worth their weight should show you their insurance. They should show you their license and give you references. So, that's something we don't mess around with. I think I can't remember ever not hiring and paying a little extra for a licensed electrician on our jobs, because that's, is really important to us.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the electrician is going to do solid work to code, and, you don't have to worry about it. If you have your handyman hang your ceiling fan or change your electrical outlets, listen, it's probably not hard, okay? It's not real hard to do these things. But one little mistake, one little, a breaker that's double tapped or something like that, it could be a big problem. So you spend the extra few dollars. It might even only cost you, maybe it costs you 50% more. So it turns a $1,000 job into a $1,500 job. But you know what? That $500 is insurance, and it helps you sleep well at night. And so when it comes to electricians, man, I highly recommend finding a good one that's going to also charge you, though, for time plus materials. Okay, because when it comes to like electric panels, it may only cost $200 of materials, and it may only cost them 3 hours, take them 3 hours to do it, but they may charge you $1,000 to do it. So you want to get them to charge as best you can. They're $75 an hour plus the materials, and that usually will save you money in the long run. And honestly, when it comes to plumbing too, plumbers, a lot of times, plumbing isn't rocket science in many situations. It's just making sure you get the right fit and the right stuff. But I tell you what, I hate doing old plumbing work too, because I go to Home Depot, 5 or 6 times just to get the right things. And a plumber will come, have all the right tools, all the right materials on the job, in their truck, and they'll get the job done in 2 hours, 3 hours, where you would have taken a day or even 2 days to get the job done. And it's done right, and it's tight, and you can always call back if there's an issue. So even hiring a plumber, I like hiring licensed plumbers.
Now, do you pay them up front in full?
I never pay anybody in full. You never want to pay anybody in full. Once again, we're paying for the materials. They just have to show up and give their labor in most instances. So, we might give a little bit of an olive branch, here's some money up front. But the reality is nobody should need to get paid up front, or even really half of the money up front, unless maybe you've got a very long relationship with them and they're buying like the AC guy. Maybe you have to give him the money up front for him to go buy the AC to come and install it. But generally speaking, you want to pay as the job goes along. I'm not saying don't pay him until everything's done, but you pay him until the end, and then you always leave a good chunk of change for the very end. So when you walk through and there's a little punch list, they miss that and the other, that they work really hard to get the rest of their money.
Yeah, the reason they ask for the money up front is because they don't trust you. And we have a track record of paying people. We pay people, and we pay them on time. So on our guys, I actually pay weekly with my guys, and they come once a week, and it gives me a good chance for them to come in my office, and we sit down and catch up with them and find out what's going on in the jobs and what are they having problems with. it's become a really good weekly meeting with me and our main guys. So I really feel like with the daily conversations I have with them on the phone, and it's pretty much a weekly face-to-face meeting for 15, 20 minutes when I'm writing checks. I mean, it's a good part of it's a good part of our relationship. So it works out good, and he knows when to come get checks from me. It's either early Thursday or early Friday. It's a relationship thing, and that's something you develop over time. But never ever pay anybody up front for everything.
Even for the first timers, don't pay all up front.
No.
No, and don't even pay half, because half of it sometimes is their full profit. So if they get all their profit up front, why would they come back? I'm sorry to treat people like they're like everybody's dishonest, and I hate to do that, but I know we're honest, and I know we're going to pay, but I don't necessarily know if the next person I've never used before is going to finish the job. And you gotta prove yourself.
I mean, talking about first timers, one thing, especially now listening to you guys, is something you got to build. As a first timer, you go ahead and you got to take a more risk as you start building your loyalty, your relationships. Then everything else kind of narrows down. Correct?
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. It is a loyalty thing, and the more you have a relationship, the easier it is. I mean, there's guys now that we hire that we don't even necessarily get quotes from, because time is of the essence. We're just like, go to this house, start the work, get rolling, because at the end of the day, if there is a dispute, we know that it's going to be worked out fair. But we already know the track record's there. We know what they're going to do. We know how they're going to do it. They know what we expect. They know what color we paint the house, what tiles we put in, what kitchen we put in, and there's no guesswork. We're pros at this. This is what we do. So it's the same every time, and so it saves us a lot of time. We're able to jump on these things right away.
Yeah, one of the things, and I can say this because I'm not one of those flipping guys, is that when you see these flipping shows, they always talk about, how much money you can make flipping homes, but they really don't talk about relationship building. They don't talk about how important it is to build your name, your brand, you as a person, so you can build trust with vendors and so forth. So this is one of the things I love about you guys, is because you preach what you're preaching, you actually live it. And it's part of the reason why we've been working around with you guys for so long. And this is one part, like, again, I say that you don't see this in flipping shows. So, this is really important.
Yeah. One other thing to add is, it's your job as the person, as the owner, to get the best deal you possibly can. But nobody's going to want to continue working with you if you constantly beat them up on the price, get them to work for no profit. Nobody wants to work for no profit. So you got to make sure that they eat, that they earn money. And over the long haul, you're going to be just fine. But if you squeeze them, or you change your mind, or you switch up on them at the last minute, man, it's going to make the business very, very, very difficult. Okay. And you're always going to have to be finding new contractors and more contractors and so forth. Now, don't get me wrong. Some contractors, they do a few jobs for you, and then all of a sudden their price starts creeping up and creeping up and creeping up, because they think you're this big, rich real estate investor. And so you do have to replace guys from time to time, because they get a little, they get a little greedy, or they get a little jealous, or whatever it is. So sometimes you do have to replace people, and or at the very minimum, get somebody else to do a job and let them know, hey, I do have options. You aren't the only game in town, and I am willing to use somebody else.
That's why I love paying weekly, because it gives you that chance to have that one-on-one with people, and build that long-term relationship where they're, they, when it's going awry, when, someone changes their attitude, and the best way to know their attitude is to talk to them as much as you can.
What about exterior alterations?
Oh, exterior alterations. We're talking like doing the roof, doing windows, doing doors, exterior lighting. Always get a permit, because that's the fastest way to get, to get in trouble with your local code enforcement. Another thing is exterior. Don't put big dumpsters out front if you're, it's just unless you're pulling permits for everything, because it's just a telltale sign that you're doing work on a property.
And what other exterior alterations people do? I mean, like you were mentioning a bunch of them, windows and roof. What about pathways and, Because right after that, we're going to get into landscaping. So is that part of the extra alterations you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about things that really structurally change the property, putting additions on, pouring driveways, pouring walkways out of concrete, that kind of stuff. That y'all have
windows, doors.
Yeah, do that by the book.
Okay. And then now landscaping. That's finally the final piece to cover this whole thing. I mean, tell me about landscaping.
It's landscaping, I think, is the exclamation point. So you need to have a house that's nice but not over the top. So you need to put some mulch, you need to have some new plants, and you need to make sure all the trees are trimmed and everything's manicured. The grass is green, which something you should do in the very beginning is start getting the grass ready. Our budget for landscaping on most houses is anywhere from $500 to $1,000, depending on what we're doing. And but it's necessary. You got to do it.
Absolutely, curb appeal sells, man. Curb appeal sells. Paint, landscaping; those are some of the most important things you could possibly do at a house to change its value.
All right, so it was a great session, but before we complete and have our final thoughts, I want to go ahead and share a message that we do with all the members, and then stay tuned for the final thoughts.
We hope you enjoyed this webinar. Don't forget to log in or sign up for your membership to access the online membership center, where you can see all lesson replays, download the homework, RSVP for future sessions, and much more. You can even ask for help or request a topic to our members. Are you ready to get started? Log into our website and sign up.
I want to talk about that event that you guys do every quarter, more or less, the coaching event. Tell me a little bit more about that before we go into your final thoughts.
Listen, we are putting out a coaching event like nobody's ever seen before, like nobody's ever delivered. I mean, you're going to walk out of our coaching event. It's a 4-day event with a year worth of mentorship, and it's going to be like you are going to start off like rock and rolling as a real estate investor right off the bat. You're going to have a website. You're going to have a working customer relations manager. You're going to have your logos. You're going to have your social media up working. You're going to know how to negotiate buying, how to negotiate selling. You're going to have marketing. I mean, you are going to be rocking and rolling. And within the first month, and then within the first year, you should turn a very, very nice profit if you're looking to bring this, do this business to a high level.
And let me tell you, everyone that's watching this, one of the coolest things is that when you go to these flipping real estate events, you never see the actual experts. You never see the owners. Get involved. This is a great opportunity to actually work with those flipping guys directly, not just their employees. You get to become part of the team, and that's not going to be forever. Right now, they're able to do that. They have enough time to do that. So please look into it, get involved. Also, this is a great company they have so many resources, everything from audio CDs. They have video production videos that you can go online and look at. You have this membership to be a part of. Come here once a month and get information from the pros themselves, not just from other employees. They're hands-on. They're getting involved. And also, you even have the reality show. Not only the ones that they've been doing on the webinars, they're actually going to not be on national television. So, if there's anything that says that these guys are successful, you can look around many different sources, many different things, and you'll see that their stuff really works. So I just want to do that. And then I had to, again, another plug, because I believe in what you guys are doing. I've seen the success. I've seen it grow. And the more I'm surrounding myself with you guys, the more I see that everything you preach about, you actually live. And with your family, with your business, and with your business partners and friends. I mean, this is a great thing. So I want to go ahead and leave it on right now that you guys go into your closing, leave them with a final thought. I mean, Gene or Andrew, what's going on?
Bert, a few years ago, we were putting on seminars, right? It was a 4-hour seminar, maybe a 5-hour seminar. And it was how to make 6 figures flipping real estate, right? And it was only $200. And, a lot of people think that might be gimmicky, man. Oh, come on. How can I go to a 4-hour seminar, 5-hour seminar, and come out and know how to make, 6 figures flipping real estate? Do you know how many people, I don't have the exact number, but man, the majority of people that went through that course, okay, and that took the next step to actually to apply what we taught them, made 6 figures or very close to it. And I know we've got testimonials, we've got real real stories of people that left the seminar and went on to make, over $100,000 within their first year of flipping real estate.
Yeah, and Gina and I are at the point where we've done it, we know how to do it, and we derive great pleasure out of teaching people how to live this lifestyle and move their lives to the next level. And we're moving on to the impact society phase of our career, and it means a lot to us. So we want to put good information out there, but we want to give it to good people. So good information to good people, and we look forward to meeting whoever that is.
Well, I want to thank every single one of you for being a part of this. My name is Bert Oliva. And remember to live life and don't let life live you. And we'll see you next month.
I just want to come in here and thank you for being a part of this session, getting involved and participating. We love serving you. However, if you're not a member, I recommend that you sign up now. If you really want to learn, you really want to be part of a great coaching team, and you want to take your real estate game to the next level, you definitely have to become a member. One more thing, I want to make sure you log on to our website so you can watch our online reality show. Don't miss it. A lot of information, a lot of content, and it's really good stuff. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Register online today and join us for all new interviews and topics. Only on thoseflippingguys.com.